The magician takes all 4 nines and one at a time places them at different parts of the deck. He then invites Susan the Sausage to push those nines into the deck for him. As soon as Susan has pushed those cards into the middle of the deck, all 4 nines are already back on top of the deck. I'm Daniel Madison, and this is Return. I am Daniel Madison, welcome back. Thanks for being here. Charlie Madison and I truly appreciate you choosing to spend a bit more time with us today, so Happy New Year. Happy 2020. Very conveniently, I am returning to YouTube in 2020 with a video called Return. Now it's been some time since my last video, but don't worry, 2020 I'm spending so much more time here. If you don't know who I am, I'm Daniel Madison. I teach magic, sleight of hand, deception with playing cards, close-up deceptions with playing cards right here on YouTube. And in this video I'm going to teach you a way to put all 4 nines in the middle of the deck, all in different positions. By the time they're pushed into the deck, they are already on top. The beautiful thing about this is once you put them in the deck, Susan can see them going in. Susan Sausage pushes those cards into the deck. She does the work. Little does she know, those cards are already back on top. I'm Daniel Madison. Welcome back. This is Return. This relies on an extra 9 of clubs. Considering that all my decks come with a duplicate, at least one duplicate, and most people are catching on to this. Thanks. Daniel Schneider always prints dupes. I know quite a lot of people print dupes now. A duplicate playing card, meaning a copy of another playing card that's in the deck. For me, it's usually a King of Diamonds or a 9 of Clubs. I do change it up from time to time, but my decks are all printed with an extra 9 of Clubs, extra King of Diamonds, because I believe a duplicate playing card is the most devastating, the most deceptively devastating addition to a deck, addition to your magic arsenal that you could ever have. Alright, so I have a duplicate 9 of clubs, I have all 4 nines here, and I have 2 8s. I have an 8 of heart, 8 of spades. We'll get into the reasons for all of this in a second. I just want to show you the method to begin with. So we're going to put all 4 nines on top of the 8 and then the 9 of clubs right at the back, the duplicate. There's a visual discrepancy that you will see that we'll talk about with the 9 of clubs, because it ends up in the wrong place and it doesn't make sense to anybody who's watching as closely as I am. That being said, no one's really watching that closely, and even if somebody does, this is one of those tricks. If somebody says, hold on, the 9's in a different position, then I would say, yeah, it's a trick, this is how it works. I don't really care. So yeah, 9 of clubs, 8 of spades, 8 of hearts. The sequence of these 9s, I found it is fairly important regardless of the discrepancy. So we got the 9 of clubs, 9 of diamonds, 9 of spades, 9 of hearts, 9 of clubs, and a little bit of spit that just came flying out of my mouth. So this is how they go on top of the deck face up. The red black, I find, is the red black is quite important to this, and there is a reason I'm using the 8s too. So I'm going to close the top 4 cards and hold them together like this, so they all look like the 9 of diamonds. Hold them at a spread like this to present the 9s, and then when I turn them all face down, I'm going to slightly back jog the 9 of clubs towards me, out jog the 9 of clubs towards me. So I don't know if it's called an in or an out jog. I've never really cared. I want to put the 9 of clubs towards me by just a fraction, like just maybe a millimeter. So when you throw these 4 cards down, the 9 comes back here. So this is a 9 of clubs. So now I've got control over all of those playing cards. If I lift up here, I've got the full stack. It's important that we don't lose this break, because the last 9 that goes into the deck goes underneath this break, underneath this marking point. So the reason I like to hold a break at this point is I don't want anybody seeing this or anybody asking what might be going on here. So when this happens, as long as I'm confident now that I can pick this up here, I'm going to square up the deck and keep a pinky break, so I haven't lost control of where that 9 of club is, that bottom 9 of club. So now think about what's on top. The 4 playing cards that are going to be played with at this point, if we just take a quick look at them, we have 9 of clubs, 8 of spades, 8 of hearts, and a 9 of diamonds at the top. So the middle 2 playing cards can't be shown, and obviously that's why I don't show them. So it looks like this. I've got my break. I'm going to use my thumb to riffle down the side of the deck to get to the lower half of the deck, peel the top card off as I'm riffling down. This is a 9 of clubs. I can show this. If I don't show this, I've wasted an opportunity, because this is proving that the 9s are going in the middle. I riffle down towards the bottom as I turn this face up to say, look, the first 9 goes inside 1. Leave it protruding. Slide the next top card off with your thumb. Don't try and pick it up. You can knock the break. It looks like it's too calculated. You want it to just look like you're taking the playing card, you know, as if it's not an important moment, when really it is. You don't want to lose that break. As I take this off, I'm going to start riffling again, just about maybe exactly halfway at this point for the next playing card, but I can't show this because it's an 8, right? So I don't show it, I just take it and do it. Now the pacing of this, I'm not rushing, I'm not Russian, I'm not German neither. I'm not going too fast. I'm not trying to hide the fact that I don't want to show this. I just want to keep a good pace. So I take the card off, I riffle down, and it's got a nice flow to it. You know, I don't want to break that flow. With my thumb riffling down the side of the deck, it's almost like I'm running out of time to get that card in. So if I start riffling and then I take this and hold it over here, then I've run out of room over here and I have to start again. So it makes sense that I wouldn't show it. And once again, this isn't overthinking. This needs to be thought about when we're talking about the practices of deceptive methods. I riffle down, I take the top card off, I put it in. With this 8, I make sure that it goes further into the deck than the 9 of clubs by about that much, by about a little bit, Same again, take the next card off. This is also an 8, I don't want to show it. I riffle down about halfway into this top stack, put it inside again, further in than the bottom card, but it can be lined up with the next 8. We just want to protect these when we do that final show. The next card I'm going to take is a 9 of diamonds, and this is going to go into the break. So it's only going to go under 3 playing cards, but it's not going to look like it when we perform this, because when I take the 9, my thumb's not really riffling down the side. I'm just kind of doing a bit of the action with fingers 3 and 4. I'm pushing up to make a bigger gap here. So obviously I don't want anybody to see that. So for somebody stood here, I'm simply just going to turn like this to show them this angle. I want them to see this, so they can look from the front like this maybe, or more, they want to be looking down at this point, looking more down than any other direction. And the gap also needs to be more at the back so that this stack is tilting forward. So I've got the 9 of diamonds now. Another beautiful moment in this deception is that I can show the 9 of diamonds. So I've shown one 9 of clubs, I've shown a 9 of clubs, then I can show another one. Now I need to justify why I'm showing this one and not the others. Why didn't I show the other 2? So I don't show this as if to say, look, another 9 everybody. I'm not doing that. I'm not displaying it. I'm using the 9 to push these cards further into the deck. So it's got a purpose. Now, if I take this card and push the cards in like this, it works. It's logic. But I want it to look like it's more logical for me to turn this playing card face up to knock them in. That kind of gives the playing card turning face up a justification or reason to be face up, whilst it's doing its job, which is showing them that it is a 9. So when I do this and push these cards further in, I then sweep it back under and it can sweep into the gap. I don't have to kind of do all this like I did before. It makes it easier for it to go into the gap. So I take the card off, push them inside, and then it swings in. There's this depth perception that's really nice because I've got the break here, and really it's only under the top 3 playing cards. Notice the 9 of diamonds now is further forward than the rest of the playing cards. The rest are lined up now because I used the 9 of diamonds to push the 9 of clubs further in. Notice how this is further out. This is for a beautiful moment where I do this, where I turn everything face up and you see 2 of the 9s. You see 9 of clubs, you see 9 of diamonds, you see 2 cards in the middle, but you can't see the identity of them. It would be strange for me to go out of my way to show you the identity of those playing cards, so I don't do it. I just turn them face up so that I can knock them in like this a bit, and at this point I decide, hold on, Susan can do this part. So I turn the deck face down, put it on the table. If I want to show that they are really separate, that they're at different positions, I can even spread the deck at this point. I don't like to do this because of this discrepancy. There are only 3 playing cards here and it's obvious at this point, so I don't like to do that. At the most, I don't mind putting it down and kind of twisting it a bit like this, beveling it a little bit. You can clearly see, and if anything, your eyes are drawn to these playing cards down here rather than the top ones. It's not necessarily just something to think about when you're putting the deck down. I put the deck down. At this point, I'm free. I'm clean. I can step away from the deck and I don't have to do anything else. So maybe a typical magician would think at this point, we get Susan over. Susan, get in here. Susan, come in and push these 9s in the deck for me. So Susan comes along. She pushes the 9s inside. Again, I don't have to do anything now. So I could say, boom, the 9s are on top. Don't ever do that, please don't. I'll explain why. Boom, they're now on top. Susan can now deal those playing cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 9s on top of the deck. Now, at this point, your mind will be racing with the amount of discrepancies and the amount of potential problems. There's a fix and there's a cure for everything that makes this a little bit more beautiful. At this point, you will notice the playing cards are in a different order than what I put them in the deck. Ask yourself how many people care, how many people that you're going to be showing magic to care about this. There is a percentage, and I'm part of that when I'm watching magic, but that's because of what I do. That's because I'm this guy, you know. So nobody's going to really care about that if you do worrying about that at this point. If you do end up stopping at this point, you can just do this. 1, 4. They're all in different positions. You can't really backtrack that anyway. Madison, you're thinking too much. There is a discrepancy at this point. We won't get to it yet. That discrepancy is the 9 of clubs in the deck. What if they check the deck, Daniel? Daniel? Shut up, Charlie. We'll get to that. Right. Before we get to that final discrepancy of the 9 of clubs in the deck, the other 9 of clubs, there is the biggest part of this, which is this isn't the trick. You don't perform this trick. Please don't perform this trick like this. Here's what I do. For me, this is a deceptive method for a card cheating demonstration. So I'm going to use this as a card cheating demonstration. Now that you know the method, I'm going to go through the deck. I'll show you where the 9 is. The 9's at the bottom here. Very important notes coming up about this. Some very important notes. So just stay tuned. Don't skip any of this. I'm going to take the other 8s. Talk about why we're using the 8s as well in a second. So we'll get back in position like this. So the 9 of clubs is on either side. And we'll start this again, but we'll do it as a card cheating demonstration. So let's say that I've just performed a few false shuffles and I've dealt 4 9s and everybody's going, oh my god. I'm then going to pick the 9s up and I'm going to show them something else. So I'm going to show them something else. I'm going to take the 9s and I'm going to show them going in different parts of the deck. So this is where we're going to do return. So I'm going to turn it face down. I'm going to say, look, I'm going to put them in different parts of the deck. Here, 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 here. At this point, Susan, I would like you to please make sure that those 9s are flush inside the deck, no breaks or nothing, just push them inside for me. Susan gets off her lazy ass, comes over and pushes the 9s into the deck, squares up. I now talk about about card cheating. Maybe I'm talking about it a little bit before I touch the deck. What I want to do is this. I want to go to the deck, carefully pick it up and put it in my hand, and then do this. Now I've got this beautiful moment of mystery where, no, they can't be them. Surely they're not the 9s. I just watched Susan push them in the deck. I am Susan Sausage. I push them in the deck. They can't be the 9s. You get what I'm saying? So now the reveal is that I dealt those 9s from those different positions in the deck. I must have done, because we saw them going in. Susan felt them going in. Not yet, Charlie Madison. We need to talk about the 9. Now for me, something I didn't mention up until this point. My 9 is a crimp. Okay, my 9 of clubs is a crimp. So at this point I can just cut the deck straight to the 9 of clubs, to the other 9 of clubs. So I can always find it. I can always get to it really quickly no matter where it is in the deck. That's one way that I can deal with this. That's one way that I can find the 9. I can cut to it. I can steal it from the deck. I can take it to my pocket, put the deck down. Meanwhile, when someone goes to look through the deck, they're not going to find anything because all the 9s are here and the only discrepancy I've stolen. Option number 2, which I love, which I've done quite a few times. The 9 is in the middle, where it was at this point. Somebody's like, oh, you must be using other 9s. And I'm like, no, all the 9s are here. You know, you can check everything, I throw the 9s to the table. I keep the 9 of clubs. So I throw them down, check everything. While they're checking the deck, I'm ditching the 9 in my pocket. Johnny's going through and he's going, I figured him out. There are other 9s in here. Oh, there are only one other 9 in there. It's a 9 of clubs. And I'm like, well, yeah, that is the 9 of clubs that we used. Now they go back to this pile and find the 9 of clubs is missing. So now it's a little bit of a mind F swear word, if that's the right word to use. This is a beautiful moment I've found when I've done this. It's a beautiful moment that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So when you're doing gambling routines and card cheating routines, it's nice to have these little mystical moments where it really can't be explained. That moment really can't be explained. They know that something deceptive happened. It had to, because all 4 9s were on the table, now 1's in the deck. But they don't know how to explain it or how to even describe it after the fact. Final point, let's get to the final point, which is the 8s. So we have the 8s that we use, the 8 of spade, the 8 of heart as the other playing cards. The reason I do this, the top of these playing cards, if I block the rest of the playing card, I could tell you now that that's the 9 of heart or the 9 of diamond. When you look at just the round part of this, I know that the same thing works with the 2. I know that Gazzo has a fantastic 3-card Monty which uses a 2 in this very similar way. So 2s can do the same thing. 6s, I probably won't risk a 6 because you've got the end of the tail. The end of the top tail doesn't kind of go all the way down. I just use 8s. I've always decided to use 8 for this trick. So not that you would do this, and please don't go to these lengths to try and do things like this, but at this point when you put in the playing cards in the deck, you could show them. You could do, but just don't. You know what I mean? But I'll show you regardless. So first one's easy, 9 of club. I go here. Second one is going to be an 8, so we've got the 8 of heart. Now when I put it in, if I line it up carefully enough so there's just a few millimeters above the 9 of club here, when I show it to you, I got that wrong. When I show it to you, you can see the round top of what could be a 9, but you don't need to go to those lengths, and you don't want to be that careful when putting this playing card in the middle, lining it up just right so that you can show. You don't want to do that and then show it and then they see an 8 like I just did. So I wouldn't even take that ultra
that was Return. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do use it, or if you use any of my magic, anything I teach, stick a hashtag on there, Daniel Madison, so that I can come and check them out. I'm going to be back very soon with more dope tutorials, all ask in return. Make sure you subscribe so you get a notification bell going ding 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 every time I drop a new tutorial. I'm Daniel Madison. See you next time.